You're listening to another Woodshop podcast, the okayest podcast of its type. Your hosts are Daniel Dunlap of Daniel Dunlap Woodworks, Peter Kapar of Petree's Workshop, and Braden Boakes of Little Bug Woodworking. You can find them as well as the podcast on your favorite social media channels.
Welcome to episode 245 of another Woodshop podcast, where this week we're joined by a maker that loves humidity and wood movement so much he decided to start woodworking in southern Florida. Despite that, he cranks out beautiful projects incorporating epoxy, lasers, and CNC, and he still finds time to raise money using his woodworking and the platform and then donate it to local special needs schools. What a guy. So let's talk about how he built his business bricker by bricker. Get it? Help me welcome Bryan Bricker from Built by Bricker. That's a lot of brickers.
That's a lot of bricks.
A lot of bees.
That's more brickers per
alliteration.
capita than this podcast has. What's up, Bryan?
One good intro. I appreciate that. I am going to cut that, and I'm going to play that to sleep every night for the rest of my life. I appreciate that.
Audio business card.
Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate you guys.
Well, speaking of things we appreciate,
our patrons.
there we go. That one actually worked for once.
That did.
That
work.
was the best.
That was
That's
the
why
best
you were
one
so
I've ever
shocked.
had.
You were so thrown off.
I was like, wait a minute. That's too good.
I don't like it, and I think we should do something else because it makes me feel weird.
So speaking of feeling weird, we got new patrons. We got Juan Pierre Kelly.
That is a name.
That is a name.
Nice.
I like that name. It's a very good name. We also have Retsum M. That's a name, and I may or may not have butchered it. And I apologize if I did.
What is it again?
Retsum M.
Okay. I was trying to figure out if
Retsum.
Sound it out phonetically.
Retsum. It's master backwards. And I don't know if that's maybe that's what they were trying to do.
Is that a
I
thing?
don't know, maybe.
I don't know.
The backwards master?
We also have Yosef over at Do It Yosef. That's clever.
Yep.
Do it yourself.
I like
I like
great.
And I know I'm gonna butcher this, and I know this fella. This is JR from Trey Studios, but his actual name is Garrett Barendrex. I think I butchered that. I think it's Swedish or something.
It's Swedish. Yeah, he's Swedish.
Is it really?
No.
Well, he's sweet.
Keep reading.
It's like, did I
Swedish.
Welcome to the Army, you guys. You're in for some great times. Let's talk about our VIP patrons for a moment, shall we? Starting them off, it is Chris Lamoureux over at Homefront Woodworks, Chris Greenwood at that doesn't say Elvis. I'm going to start over if that's okay. Can I do that? Can
Please
I
do.
that?
Yes.
We're doing it live.
It would be best.
Chris Greenwood at Evolution Custom Woodworking, Brian's biggest fan. It's Duffy Woodcraft, everybody.
The Mayor.
Greg Bennett at Windy Acres Works, Greg D'Ambrosio at GTD Woodworks, Damon from WBG Woodworking, Jeremy Claybaugh, Mike over at Woodwork and Weld, Alex Adams, that is Cutting Board Feet Won't Sell on Etsy. That's his name.
Oh, that's a callback to
That's
a
true.
Workbench Con. You had to be there,
Yeah.
Dan.
We went to a class. We learned that.
I wasn't there. Sorry.
You were there in spirit. I will remember.
John Herbolsheimer at Living Laugh Woodworks, Nick Vreeland from NV Woodshop, Jared LaPuma at LL Builds, Tyler Booth at Temecula Yard Games, Henry Lutens from Manfreda Wood, Mr. Muffin Pants, Matthew Abelman. What's his IG handle? Shop Chef. Justin Frazier at Frazier Canyon Woodworks, Sarah with Rosie's Woodshop, El Jefe over at Maker's Way, Victor from Whim Designs, Dan's Mattress Boom Boom Goop.
I absolutely hate that.
That's
I
Nick
hate
Brim.
that. I just hate what I heard.
Less of that.
You know what? I was going to take Nick to lunch next week, and I'm rescinding that. He's in timeout.
I agree. You should definitely rescind that. This next one ain't going to be any better. Maximum Slurpage I believe that is Max and Alyssa Reed at Reed Design Co.
There's no way that that's Lissa. She's a nice person.
I feel like that's
shoehorning her
all
name in
Max.
there.
All Max doing the maximum slurpage.
Also, timeout.
Bill Burkle at WTB Woodworking. Malcolm at Bossa Nova Woodworks. Crafted with Machines. Ed Mancini at Mancini Woodworking. Chris at Chris Will Make. Willow Creek Lumber. That is Scott Shirk. I think he's changing up his name.
Ooh.
Justin Bailey at Campfire Woodworks and John Grubb at Grubb Will Make, rounding them out. Those are your VIP patrons. Hey, we want to thank all of our patrons always. If you want to help us out, like all these fine patrons do, you can go over to patreon.com/Another Woodshop Podcast, or you could simply go to iloveawp.com, I think.
Nice. For once,
Right?
we kept it straight.
That is correct.
Great.
So,
Yeah. Well, speaking of our top tier patrons, WTB Woodworking, Bill Burkle's wonderful patron, and one of the sponsors, or the sponsor this week.
Sponsor.
Yeah, the sponsor. And we got more exciting stuff to mention after that. But go check out WTBwoodworking.com. They are still running their giveaway of the entire micro jig lineup. Every item
crazy.
micro jig makes, and some of them twice, like any of the push blocks, you get 2 of, because come on, every hand needs one of those. And they're going to be, we got some behind the scenes info. The next giveaway is going to be a Wagner moisture meter. And we all know how fancy and expensive those are.
yeah, those are crazy expensive, but they're really
but
good.
They're hella accurate too. So
Yeah.
that's going to be the next giveaway. So this giveaway is running through the 18th. It's going to be raffled off on the 19th. So make sure to go enter WTBwoodworking.com/giveaway. And you're entered just, in perpetuity for all the giveaways. So just like with our patrons, which Braden's going to talk about in a bit. But they got all the brands that you'd want, everything from Festool to Sawstop, Rubio, Bits and Bits. Daniel Dunlap inserts are going to be there soon.
No, they're there.
Lamello-
They're there.
Well, they're physically there. We're waiting to add them to the site and stuff. But it'll all be there. Boss Dog Glue and Bumble Shoots, Temple Tool Company, acrylic templates, wood slabs, flattening services, drying services. They do it all. And they actually revamped their site. They got a bunch of slabs for sale right on the site. It tells you exactly what sizes, what code. They'll even tell you where that wood came from. They have a nice
tree.
coding system. No, but like locations. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it's exciting. So make sure to go check that out, and go check out their Instagram. They just had Eric Curtis. He was doing a shaper demo. So if you're ever interested in the shaper and how it works, he did a in-person demo there. They did a live and recorded the whole thing, so you can check that out. And Bill keeps bringing in experts from different fields, and they're doing demos on the different tools that they sell. So you're able to get a quick little, half hour to an hour tutorial of like how all these things work. And if you're curious about a lamello, they have one for that, for the shaper. So keep an eye out for those. And yes, Dan,
I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna do a class on how to use a miter saw
ooh,
aggressively.
we're going to talk about that. Oh, don't you worry, we're going to talk about that.
Great.
Anyways, if you're local to Pennsylvania and New Jersey, go check it out. It's in Huntingdon Valley, PA. Otherwise, you can go check out WTBwoodworking.com for all the goodies. And speaking of goodies from Bill Burkle, Braden.
First off, before I get into that, I pulled up his
fine.
website
Make me
just to
wait.
see if Daniel Dunlap ZCIs were on there. He has Bloom Hardware, and it's cheaper than Amazon. So I'm going to be ordering myself there.
Boom.
And I used code AWP, and it didn't do anything, but I felt good about it.
That's what matters.
Speaking of the goodies, the arugula, the je ne sais quoi, the real benefit to our Patreon page is every single month, Daniel Dunlap he decided it January.
It has been decided. I'm the decider.
Let me take you down a path. Let me tell you a story. He decided that we are going to give away something to our patrons every single month for 2025. So far, it's the only thing that he stuck through from his his New Year's resolutions, we have given away something every single month. And this month, actually, scratch that. Celebrating March, Brian Collette just won a Bambu A1 combo 3D printer. Giving away a lot of 3D printers these days. He just won that.
I'm jelly.
What is that valued at? Like
rigged.
300, 400 bucks?
Let me guess.
Brian with a Y.
Brian spelled with a Y? Was it?
Brian spelled with a Y.
Yes,
Rigged.
it was.
So April, we're going to be giving away a little something from our sponsor this week. How much? $100 gift card? No. $200 gift card? No. $250 to WTB Woodworks. All you've got to do is sign up for any of our paid tiers of Patreon, and you can get additional entries, or you can just enter by donating to St. Jude's through our Teams page. If you go to arethechairs.included.com, every single $5 that you donate gets you another entry. And
we're opening that up to all people, not just patrons.
I had a whole bit
Anyone.
to go about.
I'm sorry.
Hush.
Let's back up. Go.
Hey, Braden, what about a guy like me? My wife, she doesn't let me sign up for Patreon. She says that's wasted money, but she's big on donations. What's a guy to do?
While you're at the Italian sub shop, can you pick me up something to eat? I'm hungry. I don't know what that was, and I don't do that again.
That's how people talk around here.
That's his Jersey accent.
That's a neutral accent.
Anybody that
That's
doesn't
a Taylor ham and egg. That's what he's looking for.
For anybody that doesn't want to directly support the podcast, but still wants to get in on our giveaways, you can just donate to St. Jude's through our team page. Every $5 will get you an entry. So we've decided, because we love our patrons, we're actually going to bump up all of your entries. So if you're at our lowest tier, the $2 tier, which is, that's like a cup of coffee. That's not even a cup of coffee. That's like half a cup of coffee.
This day and age?
That's
Are you getting coffee for $2? Wait, what?
That's a pup cup right there. That's going to get you 5 entries, and then the next going up from there all the way to our VIP patrons, which are going to get 20 entries.
Whoa!
I am immediately regretting this decision because it's going to be a ton of entries. We had over 350 entries this month, so if you want to win a $250 gift card to WTB Woodworks, go do that.
Screw that. If you just want to make Braden's life hell, just go ahead and enter.
If you want to do that,
Punish Braden.
yeah. If you want to make my life a nightmare,
That right there, and in and of itself, is worth it.
And he still hasn't figured out copy
Decisions
and
have
paste.
consequences.
He types each name like individually. He doesn't know how to copy and paste.
Don't tell him about the copy and paste.
Don't tell him about copy
I do.
and paste.
I'm not technologically savvy. I just treat my computer like Dan treats his miter saw.
Well, we're going to talk about that. Well, we have a guest this week, and we're very excited. Bryan from Built by Bricker is here. Bryan, everyone is just dying to know, who the hell do you think you are? Give us the elevator pitch.
Yo.
Well, I appreciate that. I was born in New York, but I've lived in Florida since I was about 9. I've stayed here for college and all that. Professionally,
that's how you knew the Taylor ham thing.
Yes. Actually, my family still lives up in New York, so as soon as he started that accent, I knew exactly. He took me back
Notice how
to
he
getting
didn't
breakfast.
say pork roll, you Southern Jersey people. Go on.
Taylor ham, yes, sir. So, it's funny. As a kid, I grew up like loving HGTV. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't realize until like I was in my 30s that I didn't really like the the buying and selling of the houses part of HGTV. I like the fixing up the houses and making them pretty part of HGTV. So it took me into my 30s to figure that out. But my first project that got me into woodworking was I was about to have a baby. So I was losing my guest room. So I made a Murphy bed. Those kids, they just take over your life, So I had a nice comfy guest room from the wife kicked me out or anything, or if I was hungover or something, I could sleep in, but not anymore. So I made a Murphy bed, and that turned into built-ins throughout the office, and that just kind of grew my love. I bought a Craig jig, a pocket hole jig. That was my first woodworking tool, and I watched a lot of YouTube University, and I just kind of took off from there. And then I ended up building furniture for my daughter. I bought some plans from Brad at Fix This, Build That, and I built dressers, and I built a bed, and yeah, things just kind of went from there. And then as far as like going on through Instagram, I in a Christmas of like 22, I decided I was going to take the Instagram a little more serious, and I wanted to like really put an effort in to see what it could be. And I decided I was going to post every day for 30 days. You know, those like challenges, those like 30-day reel challenges. Yeah, that turned into 18 months. I posted a new reel every single day for 18 months, and all new content. I wasn't reposting anything. I was physically, one project might have taken, 6 or 7 reels. I stretched it out like that, but everything was all new. Yeah, exactly. Everything was people always tell me, get to the point. I'm like, yeah, I can't just get to the point when I'm making it. There's a process here. But anyway, so 18 months 30 days turned into 18 months. And it wasn't just like I would post a new reel every day. I decided I was really going to, engage with the community and comment on people's stuff. And I really made an effort to do that. And that's where I saw most of my growth, and also found a place in the woodworking community that I honestly didn't know it existed. It's hard to make, new friends at 37, 38 years old. And I found all these people that had a commonality with me. It's funny. I was just at Workbench Con a few months ago, and I was at the bar getting a drink, and I heard somebody talking behind me and say the word roundover. And I was like, I've never heard that in my normal everyday life. Like,
say more.
So exactly, talk dirty to me. So it's really cool being around like-minded people that I don't have any. Well, I've had a few local woodworker friends, but I met them through Instagram. But so it's nice to have that commonality. So yeah, that's my little about me section there.
Which is
Very
super
good.
weird, because you're just completely ignoring the fact that the pro basketball team, the Raleigh Roundovers. So
I guess I don't
that's
get to
what most
Raleigh
people
often.
jump to.
I don't
Are
get
they
to
in
Raleigh often.
Is that the G League?
Yeah, go rounds. Yeah, it's a big thing.
Okay.
So what year did you get, would you say, like it like clicked, like, oh, I'm doing woodworking? Like, when did you get started?
Yeah, I would say when I decided I was going to do like a push towards, the Instagram page, I used to do a lot of laser content. I bought a Glowforge in 2021, and that kind of kicked me off with doing some like lasering and stuff. And like a lot of people like to, down Glowforge, and I don't, because it actually got me into creating, and it kind of opened my eyes to what I could possibly do. But I didn't really know. I didn't grow up being a creative person by any means. So this is all kind of just come as a hobby turned into a lifestyle, really. I mean, if I'm not with my kids or family, I'm doing something with woodworking. So
Blood in, blood out. That's what that is.
ride or die.
So are you doing this full time these days?
So I have a special needs child that takes up a lot of my time. So I drive about 4 to 5 hours per day. I'm sorry, 45 hours per day. So going to her school, she goes to a specialized school that's, a couple hour, hour plus away, waiting in line, taking her to therapies and that kind of stuff. So all that to say, my full-time job is a realtor, but I don't do that as much anymore. I try to do my best, and woodworking allows me to fit in around those times of, picking up my kids and that kind of stuff.
I take back all the realtor jokes we made earlier. I'm so sorry.
I don't. I'd like to triple down.
Did we make realtor jokes?
Lawyer on next week?
Oh God!
We're saying that yes, he was probably a real estate lawyer.
A real estate lawyer.
Guess next week, but let's focus on this week.
I was gonna say the week after that, it's another common joke career. We're just setting up like a really, really long joke. That's what it is. Like a realtor, a lawyer, and a rabbi ended up on a
Walk into a bar.
Walk into a podcast.
Thanks for calling my life a joke, Braden. Make me feel real welcome.
Whoa,
God.
Technically, I didn't call it a joke. I called it a setup.
Mm-hmm.
So
Is
yes,
that
it's a
worse?
joke.
Is that better or worse?
No, all three of them would be the
joke,
would be
punchline.
They'd all be the setup, and then the punchline or the joke. That's going to be the MAYker meetup in May. Boom, boom, boom. I saved this.
Punchline.
I totally saved this.
So
Whatever you say.
You got into woodworking. You found the community. When did it click in your brain that, like, oh, I have a business now? Like I've something like. And did you go to business route? Are you still kind of doing business as you?
So what I tell everyone is try to find as many income streams as you can. Yes, I do business. I do sell products, but I do a lot of like sponsored stuff now that I've gotten a little bit of a following. I have, affiliate codes, and I just recently got into YouTube. So I only have like 2 long form videos. I have like 1,000 subscribers, but it's funny.
Not
So I have
bad.
like, yeah, so I haven't reached monetization yet because I don't have the X amount of hours. I post all my shorts on there, which are just my Instagram reels. And then
Have
I
you
have two
tried?
long form videos.
Have you tried posting your pants?
Instead of
Boom, boom.
shorts.
I'm glad you
Yeah,
said that because I was definitely thinking.
See, this is the that I was talking about the soundboard. You needed the near do do do.
What do
Pete's
I
got
have?
one.
No, that doesn't work.
That's very suspenseful. But yeah, as many income streams as possible. So like I do affiliate. So I only have two long form videos on Instagram on YouTube, but I realized that those links live forever. So I'm actually
Yep.
seeing, even though like my mini split video I did for my garage only had say 4,000 views, I've actually sold like 12 or 13 mini split systems. So I've seen commission from that
Wow.
for a thing that only has 4,000 views. And all my shorts
sir.
where I post all my links to whatever's in the video. I'll post it in the subscription, and those things live forever on like Instagram or putting, link in bio or that kind of stuff. So yes, I sell products. Yes, I have affiliate codes. And it's just, like I said, as many places as you can find, because you never know when one of those will dry up.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
Very
great.
good advice.
That's actually that's good to know. And you've only got, well, I'm seeing here 3.7K, not only, but you've got just over 3,000 views on that video, and you're getting that many sales off that video. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's very few, but those links, and in fact, that video I only put out in October, they already sent me another air conditioner. So they
Whoa.
want me to make another video.
I mean, you're in Florida. I get it.
They were just like,
You need it.
your air is gonna be so freaking conditioned.
Yeah, they get, it's like a fresh air thing because I don't have any windows in my garage. They're like, this is what you need. I'm like, okay, thanks.
Which mini split is it?
So no, I have a 9K. I just got the 12K. That'll be next because I have a
But
small garage here.
What brand is it?
Toso.
Oh, okay. I was
TOSOT. Yeah.
Okay. Well, not familiar
Find
with
out
that
what that
one.
means to me.
No.
Sorry.
Well, good stuff. And then, so now tell me, so obviously there's ties there with, you said you have a child with autism. Sorry, a lot of noise behind me out of nowhere. But you have now done one fundraiser and you're running another one with Andrew, is it?
Yes.
Right?
So
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Please.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry to cut you off. The month of April is Autism Acceptance Month. So last year we started, like I said, most of my following, I started with laser stuff, switched to more of like a maker type following. I give tips and tricks. I do like a lot of shop content and that kind of stuff. So most of my followers became makers. So to lean into that, we started to do a auction type thing where we make maker type items. I got a couple of things right here. So like we made chisels. This is this year's. We haven't had that yet with nice chisels. So like I made the epoxy blank. My friend Andrew from 2511 Woodworking is a wood turner. So he went through and he would turn this, and now he sent this back to me, and now I'll make a holder. Right. So now we'll auction this off. We have every month, every week of April, we're gonna have a different maker item. So this is gonna be mallets. This is one of them. We're gonna have
that's
4 of
beautiful.
them. Currently, we have some push sticks up, all kinds of stuff. And then we also have people that donated stuff that we're going to raffle off as well. But every week in April, we'll auction off a different thing. Last year, we raised about $1,900, and that money went to and that was kind of, I wouldn't say last minute thing, but it was our first time doing it. So we're hoping to be more organized this year and raise some more. But that money went to a local school here, a special needs school. And they were able to buy 3 computers, which to them is 3 children that are now able to communicate. So a lot of
That
these
is
kids
amazing.
are nonverbal, right? So any option you can give them to be able to communicate is just helping them advance in life. So when I first brought it to him, I was like, oh, $1,900, I'm sorry, it's not much. And she's like, no. She's like, that's 3 computers. She immediately knew on top of it, that's 3 computers. So like we need that money for this. So yes,
That's awesome.
both Andrew and I both have daughters that are nonverbal autistic. So it's a cause dear to our hearts. And yeah, we're very, very thankful for this community and our following to be able to run this auction.
And right away, if anybody wants to help, they can go to your IG, or do they go to your website? Or
Absolutely. Go to my IG, send me a DM. I appreciate it.
there
Yeah.
you go.
And that's all
Go check
going
it
to
out.
be in the show notes. So you guys just check it out there.
Appreciate that.
Oh, that's so cool, man. And this is this is the second year that you're running it now.
Yeah,
right?
this is year 2. Yep, absolutely. We just started a couple days ago, and we already have our first auction up, and then we'll start with our
Looks
raffle. So
like-
we're gonna do.
Looks like push sticks. you got going
Yes,
on?
we did push sticks. I made too many. I
Those
made
are-
5 of them, but
Those are gorgeous.
I
Those are
made sure I
nice.
picked my prettiest wood. I got some OG
Yeah.
redwood, some myrtle, some crotchy walnut, some curly
Myrtle?
maple, and that
Love
kind of
me
stuff.
some crotchy walnut.
What is
Who doesn't?
myrtle?
Oh, myrtle is beautiful. I actually have 2 types of myrtle. I have myrtle, and then I'm going to call the other one blonde myrtle. I don't know if it's all sapwood or what, but it's very light. It's just I got all this stuff from Oregon. C. Jacob Woods. I buy a lot of wood off him from Instagram. He does like those bids in the comment section. I buy a lot of wood from him. It's beautiful stuff.
Any relation to the beach?
I
Myrtle
don't
Beach?
know.
No?
I
Okay.
don't know.
They're
South
step
Carolina.
cousins. They're step cousins.
Another freaking Oregon wood place to get wood from. Honestly,
That gets shipped all the way to South Florida. It's nice and cheap. Let me tell you.
honestly, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it out loud. I think Oregon is in the Pacific Northwest in general selfish.
Pacific Northwest.
Like, yeah, be less specific. Share the love. Grow
You
some
guys
not a lot
trees
of
somewhere
curly,
else.
Wood up there.
It sounds
There's
like
not
they are
curly
sharing the
palm
love.
trees here. So
Yeah.
Share-
Curly
share.
palm trees. Palm tree burls, is that a thing?
yes, exactly.
That
A
would
lot of
be
cookies. Little cross sections.
awesome.
So you talk about starting out with the Glowforge, and then you've very obviously moved into other platforms. What other kind of tools have you started to build with and work with? Because I know that like you're on a team, not Onefinity, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the
I
other
also
guy.
I also have a CNC. I work with Next Wave CNC. So I have a Shark HD 510. It's been amazing. This is my first entry into CNC machines. I've had this one for almost a year now, and it's pretty amazing. Like I was brand new to all this. I had a laser before, so I knew some of that software, but even learning Vectric, for instance, I work with Vectric. Even learning that was like, I call these things like learning a new language. Like every time you got to learn a new program or a new editing software or whatever, it's like learning a whole new language. So every project, I just build off one. People always say like, how did you learn how to do that? I'm like, well, because I messed up 4 times on the last project, and I learned and threw away a bunch of that expensive wood from Oregon, and now I've gotten better at it. So yeah, I keep upgrading. I just got a spindle. Let me tell you, that's the coolest thing ever. I don't know why no one ever told me this. It's so quiet and it's
So
awesome.
quiet.
Oh my goodness. I can actually run this
Water-cooled,
thing when
I'm
my kids are
assuming?
sleeping. It's water cooled, and it doesn't even have a bucket. It's like a circulating one. It's pretty neat. Pretty cool
Nice.
technology.
and there's nothing that legally stops you from not putting water in it and putting Kool-Aid instead. So just pro
I
level
heard
tip.
Coolant. I didn't hear Kool-Aid. I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's a regional thing.
AWP does not sponsor or suggest that you use Kool-Aid in your
Cowards.
spindles.
We don't suggest it. We imply that it's possible physically.
We should start selling our own product. AWP juice.
Oh,
Please don't say pea juice again. It's fun that you bring up Vectric, because that's actually where Pete and I met you, was at the Vectric event at Workbench Con.
Inside
Yes.
the hot box.
Inside the not water cooled karaoke bar or box.
Ooh, water-cooled karaoke.
Yeah, actually, I met Pete first in the lobby right before this because he mentioned that it was cold and he needed a sweater, and I was like, the guy from New Jersey is cold. The guy from Florida is going to get a sweatshirt immediately.
And then what was
So-
my logic afterwards? Because I said, it's not that I'm cold now. I saw the temperature for when we were going to be heading back at like 11, and it was going to be like 40 something degrees. I'm like, all right, it's not for now. It's insurance.
He was in full dad mode and it was thinking ahead. I appreciate that.
We all decided, you know what? Let's go get a little sweater shirt, because I went and got mine too, and I was
Yeah.
glad that I got it.
it
Although-
sounds like you
too. So
did.
thanks,
What can I
Pete.
say? I'm an influencer, okay?
Although we probably would have been fine, because we all had to follow Pete as he power New Yorker walked all the way there, and I tried to slow everybody down with the Midwestern stroll.
It's how you stay warm.
I didn't like it. It was a lot of work.
But it sounds like you didn't need the sweatshirt inside the karaoke room, though.
no,
No, absolutely
You could
not.
less
Sweat
karaoke
box for
room
sure.
was-
I wasn't
it was
there,
not-
so
It was
Karaoke
frowned
room was
upon to
not-
strip down anymore.
It was not sponsored by any sort of mini split systems.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
that was definitely a fun night. That was fun night for sure. And it was one of those like, do I belong here? Because this is my first time at Workbench Con, so even all at Workbench Con was like kind of eye opening to me. You know, like I only know these people from the internet, you know, and talking through DMs and stuff. So the Venture Party was a bunch of people. I was like, oh, I know him, I know him, I know him. So even Pete and Braden, I knew both of them too.
Sorry.
We're known.
Oh no.
What I can't quite remember because we all enjoyed so much. What was your go-to karaoke song?
No, I actually didn't sing. I just was in there hanging out with you guys. I wasn't in there long. I know. I was waiting for that. I wasn't in there long. I was sweating
with the songs.
I just wanted.
I came in when
say it out
when
loud.
Adam Barnett was rapping in there. I was in there for that.
Oh, Adam
Pipes Barnett.
Adam the
Yes.
Pipes Barnett. Yeah.
What was he
Ave
rapping?
Maria.
No, he's just singing, man.
Singing. Yeah.
Adam-
He's got-
Oh,
Has
voice of an
pipes,
angel.
man. Adam can sing.
yeah, I remember
Voice
that
of an
from
angel.
Maker
I
Camp.
think he did rap, and then he also
singer.
did. Smells Like Teen Spirit. I think was one of the ones that he
Maybe.
did.
Really?
Either that or it was Rap
Long
God.
time.
One or the other.
Who would have thought he's a
they're kinda similar.
rapist?
They're like the same.
And he's an analyst. Sorry.
So dirty.
But yeah, that was a really fun event to meet up with a lot of people that speak the same, language as you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it was funny because when I got there, I heard you guys talk about this on your wrap up pod a couple of weeks ago. But like when I got there, everyone was saying, "Oh wow, it's so fewer than last year, so much less people." But for someone like me, it was still like, "Whoa!" Like there's still a lot of people here. Like, and oh no, it's not. I'm like, well, to me, yeah, it definitely was. So I still had a good
Well, that's
time.
good.
I didn't let everyone else's like influence kind of put a damper on it because there was definitely some like negative vibes throughout. People were not too happy, but for
It
me,
was
I was enjoying it.
You make the best of it, whether it's a meetup with 20 people or big event or whatever. We still had a good time. We still learned a bunch. I was like, that's the last one. I'll go to all the classes. Like, I actually ended up taking more classes than I think all the other years combined.
Well, my question is, since you got a taste of Workbench Con, was that your first like maker conference in general?
Yes, it was.
Are
Absolutely.
you going to want to go to more? Like, I don't know, the Texas Woodworking Festival, Maker Camp.
Yeah, so
Highly
speaking-
recommend.
Speaking of Adam Barnett, he was putting the full-on court press about a Maker Camp. Him and his wife Kim, they were just saying how amazing it was, and just like he's like, even one year rained for the entire time, but nobody cared. It was just a great time. Everyone
so
just
much
hanging
fun.
out, and Kim was saying she's going to sleep with like the sound of blacksmithing being hammered in the background, and like it's just like a great time. So
Bunch of
they
guys
definitely were
getting
selling
hammered into the night.
The sleeping in
Yo.
like a tent part. I don't know if I'm loving that.
Well,
We
you
get
can
an
do like
Airbnb.
we do.
Yeah.
We get an Airbnb.
You feel like you miss out on stuff if you're not there. No, okay. That's good to know.
We are known. The fun comes to us.
Calm
Okay,
down.
well, I don't have that prestige.
And by comes to us, I mean we shove it all into Pete's cars and we drive it back to the Airbnb. The year that it poured down rain, that's the one that we reference in the podcast, where we ended up playing Grand Theft Auto and
GTA.
ordering pizza. Yeah, for like 8 hours.
Yeah, well, that
straight.
was super fun.
We just hung out at the house. It was
That's
it
a
was nice.
bonding activity if I've ever heard one.
Yeah.
It was. Colton from Colt Crit ended up in my pants because we're in the dryer, and I was not in the same pair of pants. It was different pants.
Oh,
Just to
different
clarify.
pants. Okay.
We also
You should say
usually
that
go
first next time.
Thursday, right? We usually
lead
go
with that.
Thursday. So it's nice.
I think
that we
we're
get that
going
extra,
Wednesday
like,
this year.
No,
We're gonna go down
I'm
Wednesday.
not taking
and
that many. I can't
Dan and
take that
I
many
are-
days off.
Dan and I are
I'm flying to
You
New
guys
Jersey on Monday.
And then
Yeah.
you guys
We
can rent a car and drive up.
We can drive to Maker Camp on Tuesday.
Just do the Keith Johnson. Drive back
Come back.
every day.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
I'm gonna do whatever plan ends up with Pete making me breakfast every single morning for a week. That's what I want.
That's
Taylor
you
ham and
flying
egg.
in Wednesday night, and then Thursday we go up.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. We'll talk about it after this.
But no, and you mentioned, because I've thought about that a lot too. That the Workbench Con, obviously, it was a smaller crowd than years past, and a lot of people were talking about it. And I've thought about, like, a lot of people, it was their first time, and it's still a ton of people. And on top of that, you guys having your first time be this year, easily, you got the best food options of any year of
probably.
recent memory from my mind. I had more seafood this year than
Why you
any
gotta do
year.
this to me?
Yeah, you had all the
mac and
lobster.
cheese.
You had
You
all
had
the
all
mac
the
and
lobster
cheese.
from the mac and cheese. We only
And
had mac
here's-
and cheese.
Here's the trick. You can just dig out the lobster from the lobster mac and cheese. Nobody will say anything to your face. Like they'll just say it behind your back, and who cares? You got a plate full of lobster.
At that point, you're walking away. What does it matter?
Right. That's exactly what I did.
Wait,
I don't
back up.
regret
Was this a thing that happened for real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys got to
They had-
remember, I wasn't there. You guys,
They had-
you're not
they
telling
had-
me everything.
They had lobster mac and cheese, and I got some very lobster heavy spoonfuls. It was not
Somehow
intentional.
he had to do one of these, but got all the lobster in one spoon.
Listen,
Braden,
I don't
my man.
regret anything at all.
I
Nothing
wouldn't
about
regret
that.
it either. I would have done the same thing, Bray.
Jeez. All right, well, why don't we jump into some Maker news?
Please, thank
Some fun stuff to talk about.
What's
I'm
on the
gonna.
Maker News?
Yeah, I guess I should play the audio. That is this one.
Good news, everyone!
Hey, there it is. Well, I'm going to kick it off with the biggest news, and that is that May 17th in Omaha, Nebraska, we are doing the Midwest MAYker Meetup, because it's in May, MAYker Meetup, and we're going to have such celebrities as Braden and Dan featuring performances by Peachy's Workshop, and it's going to be great. There's going to be some, at least ones of people there.
Drew Witt is going to be the keynote speaker
Drew Witt
and
is
the
the
MC.
keynote speaker. Yes, he is.
Does
He's
Drew
not around.
know?
Doesn't matter.
We've told Drew, technically.
It doesn't matter. He's going to be there. That's how it works, right? If you just
Yeah.
if you build it, they will
Manifesting.
come.
We're going to manifest it.
Yeah, and that's from Iowa, which is basically like right over the river. So that'll work here. If you
People that
build
will
it, they will come.
people that will actually be there though, we have a soft, semi-hard maybe from Stone from Onefinity. We're gonna have Surf Prep there. We're gonna have a couple other brands there, plus all of the makers from the North Omaha Makerhood.
The Boston
That thing's-
Nova.
That thing is going to be a blast and a half. El Jefe from the Way of the Maker has made me
Ed
promise
Mancini?
to him that we will do karaoke.
There will be food and drink.
Raccoon chicken.
Don't know if I can
not at the event,
confirm
but
that.
in Omaha.
Yeah. We're looking at getting a food truck at least. We were gonna go ahead, Braid.
Hot dogs.
You
We
will,
got
at
we got
very
hot dog-
least,
we
you
got
will have
and
hot
picnic
dogs.
food. Yeah,
On the high end, you might have a food truck. We're working out the details. You
something
will be fed
go in your mouth.
BYOB. I will say this, BYOB. So if you
For
want
drinks, yes. We
bring a
can't
cooler,
serve drinks legally in Nebraska.
but
We
if you
will
show up with
get-
drinks-
nobody can stop you.
I guess the cops might, but who knows?
Well, you don't have to BYOB if the B is Braden. I will already be there. You
Bring
don't
your
have
own
to
Braden.
Bring your own Braden.
So very excited for that.
I'll be the DD because I'm Daniel Dunlap.
And I'll just be the computer
Sorry.
PC.
We're so freaking lame.
We're so lame. All right. Aside from that, I want to jump back on something we talked about last week, and that is the Bambu H2D launch. There was some.
2D.
So one of the concerns that I mentioned last week was the laser building up soot and
Sweet.
residue inside the machine. Bambu posted a maintenance video. There's a whole maintenance page for it for the laser, and it included a video that had a machine with 40 hours on it,
You see what's
and
happening right now, Braden? You see what's going on?
and the internet
This is
got
Pete.
yeah. The internet was got mad. They were like, "Yo, that machine is filthy inside," and the photos too were they how to clean it or whatever. The photos have since been updated to look much cleaner and just where to clean. But it's exactly what we thought it was going to be. And granted, you can clean it off; it'll be fine. It shouldn't affect it that much. But it's just another thing to think about. But from what I'm hearing, is the results of the prints are pretty good. So far the dual extruder I think is pretty cool. People are getting some really cool results out of it. But just if you're thinking about getting all the bells and whistles, do your research. make sure that's exactly what you want. Because we all have a laser here. Some of us even have a Cricut. And especially with a laser and a CNC, if you have a size, you want bigger. So a tiny
You always want
format, foot by a foot, not really the biggest lasering area. But anyways, make your own decisions.
Good for little logos, though.
Well, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah.
And the last thing I have to mention, this came from our Discord. You can join our Discord and give us MAYker news to share. You just have to be a paid patron. That's it. Easy as that. You get access. Larissa Huff and Eric Curtis, who share a shop space in Philly, they came out with a new woodworking channel, a joint woodworking channel. We actually don't see this that often. It's called Woodworking is Hard, and essentially they're going to be kind of approaching their two different styles and talk about woodworking. It's almost like think of it like a visual YouTube podcast. Like they just teamed up to do this thing, and it's pretty great. They dropped a video this week, so make sure to go check that out. And I'm excited to see what's going to come next. So that's kind of my 2 cents on that. You guys have any other news?
Yeah, a little bit. I was watching Scotty Walsh released a video on his channel. And you know how everybody talks about how you should never put in-grain cutting boards through the planer? Well, he dispelled that myth.
I've done that before.
It's totally possible, even with straight knives.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good video. Scotty does great work. I mean, you should go watch his videos and subscribe if you don't already. But it was a really good video, and he talks about how, it's completely safe if you follow these steps. And Braden's shaking his head no.
Scotty doesn't know. He doesn't know that. It's not safe. It's going to blow up. It's going to blow up.
These are references. Wow. Impressive.
Go watch the video. Don't listen to Braden. It's a good video.
I mean, yeah, you just got to back it up. Like a good
also,
computer, back it up.
we could back up a little bit to have Bryan talk about his thing again. That's MAYker news. Your auction.
Oh yeah,
Remind
absolutely.
us again what are you doing this week?
Sure, absolutely. This week, this month we'll go with the MAYker items. We still have chisels, mallets. And I have Justin from JLM Woodcraft. He makes these really beautiful bow tie jig inlays, and he actually donated 2 of those. They are just really nice. If you don't want to buy Dan's, you can buy one of these for a nice cause and make your own. But anyway,
he does. He makes very good.
We're very, very lucky they donated that for us. So also, there's one other thing in MAYker news. I was watching this Daniel Dunlop guy work in this video, and he with his miter saw, like he's just angry, like he's just owing some money or something. I don't know. You guys see that?
Everyone go watch Dan's video.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I need to find a timestamp, honestly. Because
2:11. Somebody already sent it to me.
Okay. The way Dan uses a miter saw, it made me instantly angry, and I didn't realize refrain from messaging him because I don't want him to think I'm being an a-hole. But just something about the way he makes the cut, it just makes me mad. Where he doesn't finish in the back, he finishes in the front, and
he's sawing with his miter saw. That's what
I don't understand.
He's sawing with it.
I had no idea this was going to anger the internet so much.
Dan miter saws like it owes him protection money. That's what it is. He's going door to door from small business to small business, miter sawing their profits because they owe him money. He's
Well, I know what I'm posting to Instagram Reels.
Yeah, I told him, like, you got to clip it and post it with no context. People get mad. Let me try to paint a picture for you. So much like everyone, like a regular human, he starts at the end, when it's pulled all the way back, shoulder back, right? And you do a scoring cut. Ooh, yeah, great technique. Clean that, nice clean cut first. You do a scoring cut, and then a normal human would lift up, go back, and do a second pass, again, from the end or the most forward position, pushing all the way to the back of when the machine is kind of set all the way back. Dan does the scoring cut, plunge cuts, and then cuts towards
It's all
him.
one smooth motion.
And I'm just going to leave it at that.
You learn that after you've woodworked as long as I have.
Pete, you're describing it in a way that, yes, physically that's what it looks like he's doing. But again, he's just doing this. So it looks like he's going back. It looks like there's like a rhyme and or reason, but
No
he's
rhyme or reason.
he's manually sawing with the miter saw for optimal speeds.
I am.
Does Sutton not comment on that at all?
Sutton,
I think Sutton's probably just used to it.
yeah, so it doesn't scare Sutton anymore. It's like riding shotgun with a 16-year-old driver. Like he's just dead inside at this point.
Sutton's just picking his battles. Is it even worth it?
I think that's it.
Sutton has
He'd rather
miter
get more
saw.
PPE instead.
Sutton has miter saw PPE. He just stands behind the clamp rack. Like he's got a half sheet of plywood in between him and whatever's happening over there.
Huh.
Also, if you want to
Interesting.
watch Dan struggle with adhesive, great video as well.
That's
Or
a good
math.
clip, though.
Yeah.
That really happened, and I was like, we got to keep this in. It makes me look like an idiot, but it's good content.
Stickify. Huh.
I mean, and everything about it, I just thought, man, Dan's gonna stab himself. He's gonna stab himself. And Sutton's gonna have
you can barely hear it, but Sutton goes, I don't think this is safe.
I was just waiting for you to get the good chisel out.
Oh, I thought about it.
Well, speaking of good chisels, you can win a good chisel.
They're good.
There you
That's
go.
nice.
Boom.
Great
Bring it
transition.
back. Way to bring
Professional.
it back.
Also,
Yes,
speaking
thank
of
you.
Bryan and injuries, I forgot to ask you this question in our interview segment. More of a statement. Bold choice adding an injury into your logo.
I noticed
Your
that.
animated person has got like the busted thumb with, was
Yeah.
that
He also had,
from
like, a
an
black
actual
eye?
injury that like, or was it
So-
just kind of like a silly thing you did?
Like my most popular like reel of all time, got like 3.5 million views, is me setting off my saw stop brake. I wasn't setting it off on my hand or anything. It was a miter gauge, and then the back of that logo is like kind of what you see the back of me now. There's like my logo and my blue French cleat wall, and Primo, the designer, designed that sticker for me. I thought it was pretty cool. But yeah, he kind of embellished a little bit off of that reel that was like popular.
Oh,
No injuries, just miter gauge injuries. That's all.
Did you hit was it the aluminum on the miter sled?
Yeah,
Or the-
absolutely.
Might
I've
have
done
been the
that
way.
twice, unfortunately.
Twice?
I've done
Yeah.
it once, and that's the only way I've ever.
Me too, but twice.
Fool me
Fired off
once,
my
shame
saw
on
stop.
you. Fool me twice. Well, I'm not doing that again.
That's
Oh,
how
I'm
it
sure
goes.
it'll happen again. I'm sure it'll happen again.
You gotta man.
But at least I know it works.
That's
Yeah,
true.
that's what I was like. Well, I was wondering if it works, and now I know it does. Cool.
If my
Yeah.
fingertips were made of aluminum, I can guarantee this will work. So
Aluminium.
Electrictivity, right? Speaking of that, I'm actually getting. I have an electrician coming tomorrow to install a 230 outlet. See, I don't get to
Ooh.
explain this to my normal friends, not my woodworking people, because I have a planer I bought off Facebook Marketplace, a 15-inch Powermatic. I think I looked it up. It's from like the early 90s. It weighs like 1,000 pounds. Like it's beautiful, but it's 230 volt, and I don't have any in the shop. And I've had it for almost an entire year. I went there to buy a 6-inch jet jointer, and the guy's like, "Well, while you're here, I have this." And he's like, "It's $400." And I was like, "Oh, okay, I guess
Oh
I
my
have to
God.
take it."
Right.
What?
I guess I have to take it, but I haven't been able to use it for a whole year. So I'll be
Is
very
it
excited when electrician comes
Would've
tomorrow.
jumped on
Straight knives.
It is straight knives. The jointer is straight knives too, but I actually just got a helical head replacement for it. Just came in the
Yeah, I
mail
was going to say
yesterday,
you could
so-
probably get a replacement for it.
But honestly, a
Yeah, I
15-inch
looked it up.
planer for $400.
Yeah, man, that's a score.
I also
Yeah.
like
Moving.
that he followed the Pete rule of any tool purchases. Dan has a 220 volt planer, so Brian went and got a 230.
And whatever Dan has, I have to have one.
We got a one up.
more.
Plus
We got a
one.
One
up.
up.
We have the same joiner. I have one more tooth in my helical head.
It's a loose one. It's just rattling around.
It's
in
not
there.
that I
Yours
have
is
one more.
five-sided.
I just removed one from Dan's when I was there.
You just loosen all of Dan's last next time you go.
Wait a minute. I don't like
It's a
this.
whole new meaning to the word chatter. It's great.
That'll just be mean for Sutton because he's the one that's got to fix that probably.
And he's using it, so
No, it's
Yeah.
great because then once they're loose, the teeth can actually spin on
All
each
right.
screw too.
Self-rotate.
So they're always
Yeah.
sharp.
Siri,
Always
take a
sharp.
note. Don't let Pete into my shop. Thank you.
Yeah. By the way, Braden, we're up to I think 4 or 5 stickers I found.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
great. You're not even halfway there.
I know.
Whoa, living on a prayer.
Yeah, he's spammed my shop with that. All right. Why don't we do this? Because we have a bunch of questions. Let's do a sub 1 minute. What's on the bench from everyone?
Oh God. Okay.
Gotta go quick. But first we'll do the thing,
What's on my bench?
and I'll kick it off. I wrapped up the ice climbing tools. We had a big
Heyo.
push this last weekend, so we're all done. What's funny is the guy picked up, my buddy Nick, he picked up everything on Saturday, or sorry, half of the work on Saturday as we were wrapping up the other half. And we finish on Sunday. Everything's boxed up. I take a picture and I send it to him at 11 o'clock at night. And I'm like, hey, it's ready for pickup. No response. I message him on Wednesday like, hey, when are you coming to pick this up? No answer. I'm like, you did this last time, you son of a B. So I don't know. Hopefully they can pay me. Anyways, that's it. It's for me. Braden.
I am wrapping up the 3D printer cabinet tree stuff. I got the face frame on there. I exploded my face frame, which was upsetting because I have like a quarter round like staircase landing sort of thing. So I've got like 2 steps in the way of the bottom of one corner. And I went to try and like pull it out so that I could sand it and actually sink in pocket hole screws. Because up until then it was just held together with glue, and like I twisted it wrong and just everything came out, and I was like, to hell with this, I'm installing it in place. So I glued everything, clamped it, and then just nailed it into place, and I'll sand it in place. So that's coming together. I need to order some drawer slides because I have decided, as much as I didn't want to, I'm going to build some pull-out drawers, and I'm actually going to mount the printers down in the cabinets so that I can shut them and quiet things up a little bit, and then I'll have drawers for for stuff. So now I'm having to just figure out how to organize everything. But I've got electricity run. I just need some paint and a little bit of finish work, and then I also ordered a filament dryer because I jammed up my AMS because I had some super dry or wet filament. I don't know how that works, but it kept breaking and jamming up inside. So I'm going to dry and or wet up my filament in the right direction. So, Dan?
Super quick question. If you put your 3D printers into a cabinet and you close the cabinet, would that be bad for the printer? Does it need any sort of like ventilation, like airflow? Like if I put an Xbox into an enclosed space, it'll overheat.
They probably do need something, but these cabinets are way bigger, and there's also ventilation out the top where I have power ports, or not ports, but like holes for cords and stuff. So they'll be okay.
Like a digital thermometer in there just in case. Because
I'll
keep
set
in
it
mind,
in
like
there.
a lot of printers are enclosed. So like the inside, the chamber is managed to a certain temperature, but a lot of times the electronics have ventilation of their own in the back on the side. So I'm a big never enclosed electronics guy. That's just because that's just
Take it up with Dave. Dave told me to do this.
You can't
3D
trust him.
DIY Dave.
He wants you to fail.
Yeah.
That actually tracks. No, he almost got me. Never mind. They're going out back up on top.
All right.
Dan?
Okay. Dan?
Yes, as referenced, I released another YouTube video. I know I said I was going to do one every week, but things happened, and then I went on spring break. But I released this one, and apparently I used my miter saw too rough. Apparently you got to treat it like a newborn baby or something. You got to be super nice and gentle. So if you're not into that kind of thing, don't go watch it. However,
what's the video on?
That video is doing better than my shop.
Like on what's the
about?
topic? What's it about?
title?
It's me making one of my narrow side tables. And FYI, I chose that for a couple reasons, because I had to do one for an order, so I might as well do 2 birds with 1 stone, right? Complete an order, do a YouTube video. I also wanted to share the files, sell the files, I guess, and sell the templates. Well, I listed the files and the templates.
Low price.
Yeah, and I forgot to set a price for the files, the CNC files. So several people bought the files for free, and once they got them, like I can't like cancel the order. They already have the file, so I was like, damn it.
No,
and
it's like
I even had a few.
They have to pay you at the end of the year.
Yeah,
That's right.
I even got a few
Tax deductible.
messages from people saying, "Hey, thanks for the free files," and I was like, "You betcha." So that is fixed. And I've sold templates. I sold 2 sets of templates today.
It's
So-
awful rich of you to take the design that you stole from Patrick Genzel and monetize not only the piece itself, but also the plans and the templates. I love the rage in
don't
his
like
face
this.
right now. I
don't
love
like
the
it.
rage.
I love you, Patrick. I didn't steal your design.
Wow. Dan, you should change your shop name to Crafted with Lies.
Anyway, that video is doing way better than my shop tour video. It's only got like 2,000 views, but
Keep
I'm
putting them out,
very
man.
happy with that. I'm very happy with that.
motivated watching
Very
you
proud.
do it. I'm
wow.
love seeing
We're
it.
already working on the next video, so that will be coming out probably Sunday night.
Sunday. You pay for the whole YouTube channel, but you only need the edge.
Bryan of the Brickers, what is on your bench?
Yeah, so I got this question at Workbench, kind of like, hey, what do you make? Oh, that's like the hardest question ever, right? So this week
What is it
alone,
you
I
actually
made
do here?
Memories.
Exactly. My wife asks me that all the time. So this week I made a knife block. I took an epoxy blank and split it open and threw a couple magnets in it and made a cool knife block. I'm working on a white oak live edge bench that I already put. This is my 3rd time putting finish on it. First time I put cotton white, thinking like I overthought myself. I was going to put pure, but I didn't want it to yellow. So I was like, all right, let me put cotton white. So it was more white. No, it was way too white. And then I was talking to someone on Instagram, Lauren from Barley and Oak, and she's like, yeah, idiot, there's like a natural Rubio. Duh, I didn't realize that. So that kept the white oak a lot nicer. So that was my 2nd time putting it on. And then I was drilling out the threaded inserts in the bottom. Drilled through, of course, the stop on my portable drill press slipped. So I drilled through the top. So I already had a few bow ties in it to fixing a crack. So I was like, all right, I'll throw a bow tie here, whatever. So, and then the idiot I am, again, I had to, when I was putting the bolts in for the legs, I tightened them too much. Guess what? The bow tie popped out again. So in the same hole, the bow tie went through and popped it out. So I had to sand it down, finish it, and put another coat of Ruby on it. That's, if I don't do things 3 or 4 times, I'm not doing things at all. And besides that, I got a new vacuum table for my CNC, so I'm super excited to play with that.
Nice.
That's something new I have not messed with before, so I'm excited for that. They had them at Workbench Con. It was really fun playing with them. Like when those things are sealed up, it's like you can't move them at all. And then just the last, go ahead.
When you start messing with the vacuum table, I had this thought today, and I'm not sure if it'll work because with vacuum tables, you can't really cut all the way through because the second you do, it breaks the seal and you lose all the negative air pressure. Are you going to put MDF like a topper on top of it, or are you going directly to the vacuum table?
No, I go directly to the vacuum table. I just won't cut through. I'll just make sure I leave enough to not cut through.
So my thought here is if you use an MDF topper, because the vacuum is going through the MDF, could you then theoretically cut through your workpiece? Because
if the air can pass through, I guess MDF should be, open pore enough to where the air could pass through. I got like a 5 CFM pump, so it should be strong enough. Maybe I'll give it a try.
Are you telling me that these vacuum pumps can suck through MDF?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because it's super porous. So a lot of people will use MDF spoil boards on vacuum tables.
Yeah.
What?
100%. Yeah, like that's why a lot of times on the big giant CNCs, you'll see still an MDF top, but there's a vacuum pump. It's pulling through that. And if you're going to do that, I learned this from Izzy Swan. He actually spray paints the edges of the boards of the MDF board, so
it doesn't
no
lose
air
suction
can
on
come
the
out
edge.
the side. Yeah.
That's very smart. Like maybe there's some like filler primer that like really fills up those pores. Yeah.
I think he literally just he sprayed like orange spray paint on there, but it'll seal it up enough, just to do the edges. I know.
Interesting.
That's
Izzy
really
Swan
smart.
guy, he's pretty smart.
Yeah, I
He's
think
got a
he's gonna.
future.
Yeah, he's gonna
all
go
right.
places.
Guy's all right. He's gonna go places. Anything else?
So yeah, the only other things I'm finishing up the auction items. I mentioned those already. One of my guys made a pizza cutter, so I'm gonna make a holder for that. And yeah, a couple other things for the auction. So you can check out my page for that stuff.
Dope.
Awesome.
Nice.
All right. Well, let's jump into questions.
Can Before you go, I just want
Wow.
to say that may be the fastest what's on our bench we've ever done.
100%.
So
Yeah.
good job.
We're
Go
definitely
us.
still a little long, but
Normally, we would just be finishing up the first person's like context story.
it also kept everyone engaged because usually it's like within 30 seconds of someone talking, it's like the phone comes out and there's a slight tilt of like, let's
Dan's head starts
you're gonna
falling.
talk for a while. All right, now let's jump into questions.
What's on
Black
the question?
Betty, Ram Lamb.
All right, let's kick it off with this one for just Brian. No one else can answer it. From
Right.
Alex, the mayor of some municipality, Duffy.
Hey dudes,
Recount.
this question is for Brian. Since you work with a good amount of brands, what advice would you have for makers who are getting started and want to work with brands? Adios, muchacho. The mayor.
I guess I should first explain why I call Alex the mayor.
Yes, please.
When I went to Workbench Con, like I said, like I knew people from the internet, but I didn't know a lot of people. So Alex, I did know before because he's also on the Next Wave team with me. So it was Alex and Scott were the two that I did know. So I first met up with with Alex. He just seemed to know everybody. Like he had a connection here, he had a connection there. He just kind of knew everybody. And my father-in-law was the mayor of our little town that we live here. It's not so little, but the mayor of the town. He always said my whole life that he just knew everybody. And so Alex reminded me that, and he was very helpful for me in not knowing a lot of people to kind of introduce me to here and there and kind of, take care of that little learning curve that is going to a place that you're unfamiliar with. So that's why he got the name the mayor. But as far as working with brands, it's interesting because I actually just divorced myself, I guess it would be, from 2 brands this week. I'm actually trying to cut down on stuff. I found myself that this isn't really his question, but it's made me think of it. Is I found myself that I was, for some of these brands where I work with, where I take product or whatever, I found myself like looking for projects to make to fulfill their videos. And I decided this past couple of weeks and kind of after Workbench Con, talking to a lot of people, that I felt like my time is worth more than that. And I shouldn't be just making a video because I got to fulfill this BS contract or whatever. This thing doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't really mean anything in the end run. So I actually stepped back from a few companies. And I don't say that to be like, oh, all these companies are throwing things at me, because they're not by any means. It's just that sometimes it's good to not do too much. I actually got an email. I get emails, I'm sure like everyone here gets emails from all kinds of people from all over the world. I got an email for one yesterday that, it was for bed sheets. First of all, it's great for a woodworker. I was like, maybe I'll make it, a bed like Braden or Daniel. I don't know. But at the end of the email, it said, no free samples, no paid collaboration. They wanted me to buy the product and then promote it to my audience, but they were going to give me 50% commission off their bed sheets. I'm like, how do you write an email like that?
I don't know. You might not want to sleep on that deal.
Nerve.
Yeah, if I don't jump on it soon, I'm sure someone else will. So I should probably get on that. But I just couldn't believe that kind of stuff. But anyway, back to Alex's question. Sorry for getting off on a tangent. The best way to start working with a new brand is to follow that brand, interact on their pages. A lot of these brands may not have a large interaction on their stuff. They might not even have a large following, or if they do, they just kind of post and ghost. They want people to interact because that's what Instagram wants, right? So that's like our community when we comment on each other's stuff to boost everything. Well, brands want that too. So that's the one way to get noticed, because they're going to keep seeing your name come across their newsfeed all the time. So, and then if you do go from there, maybe reach out, got to get a free product, and then show how you can bring value to them with that product. Because it's not only about views. I've noticed that as I've gone on, when I went those 18 months of posting every day, towards the end of that, I was getting 10, 20, 30, 40,000 views, almost on every reel. Now I have more followers. I have, almost 28,000 followers, and I get 2,000 views on my reel. But what I've heard from a lot of brands is they don't necessarily care so much about the followers or even the view count. They care about the interaction. So they see that your things are getting shared. They see people are interacting with you, because that's the actual community where things can be shared with each other and you can share the products you like. So that's my spiel on that.
Yes. Preach. I mean, you nailed everything right perfectly. Engagement is what sells product. So that's what companies and brands are looking for. So I
That and
agree.
Sex sells.
Know
Show
your
s-
value
show
and
some
don't
play.
be afraid to ask for it.
That's why I
Yes,
do
very
all
much so.
my,
That's something I'm learning.
That's why I do all my woodworking topless.
Why he doesn't get any brand deals.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
All right, next question's all the way from France. It's Thomas. He's back.
Hey guys, guess what? I'm back. I've finished all my audiobooks. Brandon Sanderson's Stormlight Archive, in case you know, and if you don't, well, you should try it. So I listened to all the podcasts I missed, and now is time for a question. I need to find a glue that I can undo easily for turning project. I need to be able to cut piece of a big cube, do stuff on it, glue it back together, turn it on the lathe, and then unglue it again. I was thinking hide glue maybe, or a bit of CA with acetone to undo it. Thanks for your help. Thomas St. George.
I'm going to be honest. I don't have an answer to this one, but I do have so many questions about what is happening over there. What is he doing and then having to take apart and then put it back together and then turn it?
Maybe
I'm
it's top
very
secret.
confused. It's like a Rubik's Cube in my
He's a very
head.
creative guy. So
You know, sometimes depending on like when you're turning a bowl, you can flip it around and you stick it to literally adhere it to a piece of wood again, and so you can turn the back perfectly like the way you want it, and then you like cut off the top or detach it in some way. You could do chucks that'll grab them, but sometimes people will just opt for glue. But most of us aren't turners, so we don't really have that.
I do not understand turning.
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
Dan, I think your answer is going to be my answer. So
yeah, I mean, we both kind of hinted at it in the pre-show.
on three,
so. One,
One?
two.
wait. Are we going on three or are we going?
I was
after
going to
three?
go like 1 second before you, so I actually said the answer
Ooh,
first.
hide
Oh,
glue.
Okay.
You son of a.
Hide glue.
Yeah, hide glue. But as I said in the pre-show, like I'm not an expert at turning it. I'm not an expert in anything really, but definitely not turning. And I don't know if hide glue is strong enough to withstand the forces of turning. So I don't want him to use that and get hurt and be like, Daniel Dunlap, that SOB told me to use hide glue and this thing broke apart and hit me in the face. So
Hide glue is at least 1 horsepower.
Daniel Dunlap, world-renowned turner, says I could do this.
So here's the only thing with hide glue, Tomas, if you're not familiar, it is a glue that when at room temperature, at most temperatures, it is perfectly hard, giggity. Like it's
I mean, a lot of
very common
woodworkers
glue
use
over the
it.
years.
Yeah.
However, if you ever need to take something apart, your glue joint's bad or whatever, you just heat it up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if you apply heat, whether it's steam, warming it up with a heated blanket or blowtorch or whatever, not trying to burn the wood, but if, I don't know, depending on how you're turning, if you're getting close to it, you could be applying a lot of, or sanding like enough heat to maybe loosen the glue. So honestly, I think one of my favorite techniques is still the blue tape with CA glue, because then you just rip off the tape and it's strong enough to hold something in place.
Yeah, but is the blue
Would that be
tape
strong enough to use on a turning round?
As long as you don't have major catches.
I wouldn't be worried about the CA glue joint. I'd be worried about the blue tape to the material.
Just use more tape.
We need a Paul Jackman to chime in on this. Paul, what do you think?
I would love actually Paul Jackman might have some good insight. Trevor might have some good insight.
Madeira? Yes.
Yeah, so
TJ from TJT Workshop.
TJ,
yes.
He's a Turner fella. And
Ashley
he's weird.
Harwood.
My friend Andrew that does the auctions with me, he's also a turner 2511 woodworking.
Andrew Collin. But yeah, Ashley Harwood, she sat at our table at Workbench Con once. So
For lunch.
She definitely listens.
Yeah, we're basically
to this.
best friends.
Yeah, we're best
so
friends.
It's fine.
No
big deal.
Hide glue is one option. So look into that. And then I think honestly the blue tape or green tape, whatever you guys use in France, purple tape, and CA glue.
It's definitely green tape because it's frog tape, right? So that's definitely green tape in France.
Escargot tape. Yeah, I think that's kind of the only two options. Brian, what do you think?
I like tape. That works good for me. Yeah, no, I honestly I don't know anything about that about wood turning. It does seem like if the tape would just wear a lot of PPE. I would make sure we got big masks on so it doesn't come flying off at you.
You know the suits they wear when they're training like cop canines? Wear that.
All right, next question is from Austin. I'm saving the best for last with Alex.
Hey guys, thanks for the shout out on last week's pod. Looking for y'all opinion on when a new tool's good enough. I'm a hobbyist that wants a miter saw. A lot of my past hobbies, I've bought low end, then regretted it. Now I'm in the buy once cry once time of life, but I don't know where to draw the line. I started at the rigid level, then said, I'll save up a bit more for the Bosch Axial Glide. Then the Makita isn't that much more. My dumb ass may eventually think, wait another 6 months and get the Capex. When do you say enough is enough?
You don't.
Real quick.
You
On
can
the
go
last
along.
question,
You could answer for. Oh, God.
ChatGPT suggested hide glue and CA glue, and then when I asked if hide glue would be strong enough to be turned without coming apart, it says yes, hide glue is strong enough for turning projects.
Oh, that's weird. You talked to it without getting into a fight. That's crazy.
After my interaction with ChatGPT today, I don't know how much I trust it.
We all know how much Dan loves to fight. He officially got in a fight with AI.
I do a fight with ChatGPT today.
I know we cut the bench short, but
not only that,
I forgot about that.
Not only that, he got in a fight with a robot that he paid to give him the information.
Yeah. So he basically got in a fight with an employee and lost.
Hard to find good work these days.
It really is, Brian. I'm telling you what.
To answer the actual question, I run into this problem a lot. Like I'll buy tools and I'll buy what I think is above what I need at the time. And usually it is. And then I'll use it so much that I'll then immediately wish I'd just gone like one step further. So for example, my joiner is a 6-inch helical head. And I got this back when I was kind of just starting to get into like more woodworking, more fine furniture type woodworking. So I spent money that I could have spent to get a bigger joiner to make sure I had a helical head, which I don't regret that. Helical head's awesome. But man, I kick myself now. I should have just spent like $300 extra bucks and gotten the 8-inch version of my 6-inch. So to answer the question, I always try and figure out like what is the highest level that I think that I'm going to need in any upcoming time, and then I'll go like one step ahead of that,
and he's still going to be wrong,
and I'm still going to be wrong, but at least I'll be a little less wrong than normal. So Brian?
Yeah, there's no perfect answer, because as you're talking about your joiner that you would have gone to the 8-inch, I just think about like how long I waited to get a freestanding joiner, because I just did not want to have the benchtop one, right? Like, so I'm just happy to have a freestanding one and not have one of those cruddy benchtop ones. So there's always going to be that next up. You're going to want that next up. I mean, buy tools on Facebook Marketplace. That's something I would say, because you could use it, you could sell it, you can move on to the next one if it's not for you. And you could upgrade some of these old tools. Like I have a 6-inch jet joiner with straight blades, and I'm upgrading it to a helical head. So you can upgrade tools like that. So try to find a good deal and then maybe upgrade it to what you want. And don't be afraid if it's not for you to move on, sell it, and buy something else.
Yeah.
Good point.
Dan?
Yeah. Tools retain their value pretty well. So don't be afraid to buy something by the Bosch. And if you want to upgrade it in the future to the Capex, it's going to retain its value fairly well. So you're going to get your money back. I'd say about 80% of your money back, depending on how you beat it. I mean, if you're using your miter saw like I do in my shop, it ain't going to be worth a damn thing, apparently. But
I was going to say, and if you want to know just how solid that Bosch is,
that's a solid. That's a solid.
It stands up to
solid
abuse.
miter saw.
That's what Dan's got. I have the same one, but Dan rides it hard, puts it away wet. Like it'll hold up.
It will. And to answer the question, where do you know to draw the line? You don't. I mean, I just bought a 20-inch helical head planer, 5 horsepower, and I'm already thinking about, 24-incher would be nice. Like, where do you draw the line? You don't.
An extra 4 inches is always nice, right?
Ladies. Yeah, I'm telling you what, an extra inch will get me by. Pete,
No.
add to this.
Yeah, it's hard to answer because it depends on the tool. Because if there's a tool that lets you use a lot, and maybe it's cheaper for you to just beat up one and literally throw it out when it's used up or doesn't work anymore, you burn out the motor and just get another one. But I find that with a lot of tools, there is a B tier gap. And what I mean by that is, there's like, think of like grades at school. Like in the 70%, there's no tool that lives in that space. A lot of times you'll get something that's really great intro level sander or this or that. And then the next one is like, it is the top shelf. There is no like mid tier. Like, even look at like sanders, like actually a perfect example. You can buy the $150 ones, or you can buy the $400 ones up, like there is no like that middle tier, just kind of jumps up. Same thing with, I find that with a lot of bigger tools, you kind of have like the great like entry level ones like sanders. There's kind of nothing in the 800 to 1100, and then there's like the 1500 and up that's like really beefy, and or planers. Actually, planer is a great example of that. A really big gap in the middle there.
Mm-hmm.
And I like, for example, like the rigid spindle sander, I burned out another one on this job. It literally is like, I might as well just work it into the cost. It's a $300 sander that I'm going to have to swap again. Hopefully Home Depot will swap it. Not giving me any issue, because I keep bringing back receipts of swaps to do the swap again. So, and they're always like, you should go through rigid. I'm like, rigid sends me here. I lie. Well, no, actually they did send me once, and I just keep going back to Home Depot.
Yeah. Why keep playing the game?
There is no other tool out there that is a spindle and belt combo that works as well as this one. There isn't, because
they have some sort of like patent on that design. Or
no, because
why is nobody else doing that?
And the problem is, this is a $300 tool. The next one, like the spindle I have, is a $700 spindle, the Laguna one. I love that thing. That thing is super solid, but it's just a spindle. So if I want a belt, I have to get I think it's a 2 or 3 foot wide belt.
Maybe that's why they do it, because they'd rather you buy another machine.
But the problem is, I want the belt with the curve, so I'm able to kind of go curve into flat, and like actually use both sides of it. Most of these
Grizzly has one of those.
Do they really?
Grizzly has one. I have one.
Okay,
Yeah.
Then I have to look at that too. But it's, again, you're committing to like a standalone belt only. There, you can't customize. Then you're getting into specialty tools. And the thing is, even if I had to buy this $300 tool for this job, it would still be worth it. Luckily, Home Depot has a great, return policy on these things. But if they ever told me like, no, you can't, I'm probably just going to look at either a bigger.
You're on a list.
Unit.
I guarantee you. You're on a list.
So sometimes like the answer's taken out of your hands, because like there is no better option. Also, when I'm doing this job, it's actually nice to have 2 spindles going. They go up and down and spin. Yeah. And so we were going between the two, kind of doing each piece. So anyways, sometimes the answer is just taken away from you. You have to go with what's available.
Pete, you mentioned that there's no like mid-range tool for a lot of these tools, and you're incorrect.
Okay.
If you spend the premium price on the Shopsmith, you can get 7 different mid-range tools.
Now you're writing that Shopsmith.
There'll be no hating on Shopsmith.
Also, Dan,
that is an amazing tool.
Dan, do you want to drive to Topeka? We can pick up a 1960s era 24-inch Powermatic planer in Topeka right now.
I mean, that's only like 2.5 hours from here.
Brian, do you have anything else to add that isn't Shopsmith related?
I would just say, you said sander, and that just like light bulbs went off my head, because there's really no bigger difference than between a $50 or $75 sander and a $450 festival sander. I mean, or whatever, something like that. The vibrations, like that's something you could physically feel in your hand, and it will make a difference. So I don't know if all tools are necessarily like that, but when you said sander, that just popped in my head. Like that's the one that's a big difference.
Yeah.
Spend the money on the
if you're gonna do a huge upgrade, Sander's the spot to do it, man.
Like at Surf Prep, where you can use code AWP to save 10%.
Like a good sander is there.
Look at this guy. Always influencing.
There you go. And I need to find out which sander you have, because I want to hear about that one. I've actually been thinking, Lee, sorry to like steal this right now, but I actually want to pick you guys' brains. Lee has a sander that almost looks like a grinder. Lee Oman, the only Lee we know.
I know. I wanted you to say it for the listeners. Not
Lee
everybody knows who
Oman.
you're talking about.
of
Come
the
on,
Lee
Pete,
Oman
the one
experience
time-
on Instagram. Go
The
check
hat
it out.
right there
time-
behind Braden.
The one time it's okay for you to name drop Lee
Yeah.
Oman from Regal Street.
So there
He
is
doesn't do it.
a drum. It's a flap disc and a drum sander, but the drum is inflatable. So you actually choose the pressure, and then it has to be enough to hold the paper on there, but you're able to lean into the paper and it flexes. So
Wow.
I've been wanting to get
You
one
lean
on
into me, I
Marketplace,
flex.
but I
So
can't
you're
find
able
it.
you're able to lee into the sander.
You lee into it.
Oh,
Yep,
okay.
exactly. Heyo.
There we go.
And now I'm looking
That's better.
Grizzly does seem to sell one, but I'm not sure if this is an inflatable one. No, it's not. I think it's just a rubber drum.
I think
But
you're high. I don't
if you guys
think anybody
know what
sells
tool
an
I'm talking about,
inflatable
if you
sander.
have one, please send me details about it. I want to learn more about them because I
Pete?
might need to get one for this job.
Pete wants to buy an inflatable Fisher Price My First Sander. That's what this is a toy. You've imagined it.
That sounds right.
You're just jealous.
Always. Have you seen how Ryan Reynolds looks? I'm always jealous of something. Specifically Ryan Reynolds.
I'm pretty sure if Timo has one of those, that's going to be your guys' giveaway next month.
That's right. Well,
a Timo
that
sander.
or the 326 of something else that we looked at.
I'm gonna give away my sander,
Hopes and
my
dreams.
rigid sander,
Ooh.
as is.
Grizzly does have a edge sander that also has the rounded edge because, with how physics works with the sandpaper, it has to have a rounded edge somewhere, but you can access it.
Well, I think
'cause a lot
I
of times
found
it's
what Brian's
covered.
talking about. It's the Grizzly oscillating edge belt and spindle sander. It
Ooh.
looks just like the rigid.
It's exactly the rigid. I have that one. Yeah.
Oh, it's exactly that. I saw that. Copy.
exactly as a
Okay,
rigid.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
okay.
I
So
was
you
thinking
might be able to
more
return
of a slightly beefier one.
Oh
okay.
this one looks
I just
like
thought you
they
wanted one
just-
the motor wasn't going to burn out on.
Well,
This one
Ooh.
the
looks
thing
like
is,
they
we
just
put in
took
work on these
slinging
things,
shots
so
over here.
It's
No, there's no better return policy than Home Depot anyway. They'll take everything back.
Here's
so that
the
makes
other
sense to stay
issue.
there.
It's not that we're burning it out. I don't think we're burning it out necessarily with the
They're
wood,
burning it in.
but it's plywood, edge grain. So it's edge grain and plywood. That aluminum and plywood again. So when we're sanding it, there's a lot of fine aluminum dust.
You
And
mean
despite me
aluminum?
blowing stuff out and whatever, that it's going up and down. There's a little guard there. That stuff must get into the motor. And because we smelled the magic smoke, it actually ends up turned over the other day. I was trying to do a story to prove a point, and it turned on. But the magic smoke, once you smell it, it's game over.
We don't ever smell that in Nebraska because that's the devil's lettuce.
It's not.
We smell that a
legal.
lot in South Florida. Let me tell you.
The magic smoke, not the
not
good,
legal.
not that magic smoke, electrical smoke.
Not that
Oh.
blueberry yum yum.
No.
Like burning acrylic on the laser smell.
Speaking of things that smell like burning acrylic, Alex Adams.
Hey guys, I was looking to get your input on organizing scrap lumber as well as maybe like a scrap lumber organization bin of some kind. Because I've already got my process down on what I keep versus what I pitch. What I pitch goes into a larger bucket that I turn into firewood. And then what I keep typically goes on the lumber rack on top of larger lumber. But when I need that larger lumber, I end up with a waterfall of wood scraps falling on me, which is not ideal. So some of the things that I've seen other people use, obviously, is a large bucket, which isn't ideal because it's kind of hard to sort stuff if you throw everything in there. The next best one was the kind of like the Hallmark card section looking organization bin that's got the shorter pockets in the front and then the deeper pockets in the back for the larger pieces of scrap. The only problem with that one is that it kind of takes a little bit bigger of a footprint, and I'm trying to keep it as a small footprint, ideally wall mounted. So if there's anything that pops into your mind as a suggestion to organize that scrap lumber, that would be great.
Dan, as the king of scraps, how do you organize your scrap lumber?
That is quite easy, and I have the best solution for you, Alex. I hope you're sitting down. I have a shelf dedicated to scraps just by the miter saw. The one that I abuse. And I throw stuff down there, and occasionally I'll have Sutton go over there and organize it. And then I have a Braden come over, and he takes it away for me. Do that. Braden, what do you think?
Danscraps.com. Just visit danscraps.com for all your Dan Scrap needs.
Braden, you want to add anything to that?
I resemble that remark because I have every single one of the things that he described.
Say resemble?
He
Yeah.
did. He said resemble.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, I resent that I resemble it. I have several buckets of Dan scraps. I also have the extra large library card that I use, and on one side it has some of my sheet goods, and on the other it has all my scraps that I forget about because I'm just constantly inundated with more and more Dan scraps. So I don't have time to deal with Braden scraps.
Braden scraps are inferior.
I don't really have an answer here because I am the problem. I am the scrap problem. I am getting better at getting rid of stuff and burning it when I really can't do anything with it. But I don't know, just buckets on the floor. Find yourself a somebody else. I'm gonna kick myself for saying this, but selling flat rate boxes of scraps is such an opportunity that I think a lot of people just give up on because they think this is scraps. But there's so many different types of projects that people will use that those scraps are perfect for a lot of people, all the way down to like pen turners. Like they want like 3/4 inch by 3/4 inch by 6-inch pieces of wood. So post it up on Facebook Marketplace. You know, you could get a pretty decent bin, and you could probably put up a, you know, take all this for $20 sort of thing. You can make a little bit on the side sort of thing, or just offer.
Or you could donate it to a local school that has like a wood shop class or something.
Yeah, like donating
if you
your
were a
trash
kind
to
person.
the local school. So I don't have an answer here because all those things work, and that's what I'm doing. So good luck, bud.
Brian?
I would say, first off, people that burn scraps should go straight to jail. I mean, what are you doing? Everything is usable. Everything is usable. I mean, come on.
Get out of here.
Oh, Brian.
But actually, you know, like
It
Braden
doesn't like
said,
to be that wrong that often.
Adam the Pipes Barnett is turning over in his sleep in rage right now.
It's tossing and turning. Stop moving.
Yeah, that's just terrible that he does that. Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at wood as overwhelmed. There's less space in here and then you can't even walk. I have so much wood everywhere. But I have all the things that he was saying he doesn't want. And he lost me when he said, you know, a small space, maybe on the wall. No, scraps, no such thing as small space. If you have scraps, you need big space. So I have a cart that, like Braden was mentioning, has plywood sheets. It's 6 feet long, so it fits 6-foot sheets on the back. On the front, it has that library thing. But on the side, I have about 7, I guess we'll call them drawer spaces with no drawers. So cubbies, I guess that's what you would call those. And they all specifically fit this size of tote that I found that, you know, I guess I got them on Amazon or I found them somewhere, maybe Walmart or something, like say 18 by 10. And each one specifically is its own wood, its own species of wood. So I have a walnut, a maple, a white oak, and all the smaller stuff fits in there. I was doing a lot of stuff with epoxy, so I was able to just grab from there and mix it with some epoxy to make some stuff and, you know, cut it on the CNC or whatever. So I don't get rid of everything. I keep everything. So I'm probably bad to answer this question, but you get those like little things that fit them in there. Maybe that's all you're going to keep is what fits into this box. Maybe that's a way to do it. But
I think that's a great way to do it. That's kind of what I try to do. I do unfortunately have a supplier that can't stop and won't stop. Keith just drops off his garbage, and his garbage is like
nice garbage.
God, he dropped off like tiger maple scraps, and I'm like, I can't throw this out. This is prettier than everything I have in the shop. So what I do is kind of like the limited. Thank you. At my old shop, I had the, what do you call it? Like the not the gift card,
the Hallmark.
The Hallmark card storage. Yeah, like kind of the tapered fronts, longer pieces in the back, shorter in the front, with like maybe some like small plywood offcut storage in the back. Those are great if you can keep to those spaces. If you're like, this is all I'm gonna keep. And I do highly recommend dividing it up by species like you did, Brian. What I do now is I had this like cubby that I was gonna throw out, and one day I just threw some wood in there. It's 12 inches deep, so anything over like 16 inches doesn't go in there. So like it's only pieces that are like long enough, or maybe I think it's actually 18 inches. Anything 18 inches and below, cutting board size, goes into these three pockets. So it's It's actually right now it's maple and walnut because walnut overflowed into cherry. And then anything longer than like 20 inches, depending on what it is, sometimes I'll just cut it down, or I'll put it on a longer rack. But if it's something that's like, this is clear, like I can't justify one way or the other, I'm cutting it and throwing it in there, or I'm gonna burn it. If it's got some knots or whatever, I just cut something off. But if it's usable for a cutting board or whatever, but at some point, if it's taking up too much space, I'm either giving it away or I'm sorting through the stuff I have and choosing the worst stuff and burning that. Sorry,
I'll be honest. I made an effort and looked into storage units to store my wood, and then I realized I had a problem.
Yeah,
I work in my garage, and I was
that's a
going to
bad
rent a
idea.
storage unit to store wood. Yeah, that's a problem.
In my defense, I generate more scrap than I can keep up with. So at some point, decisions have to be made. So whatever Braden can't take, I'll try to pawn it off on like my brother or other people. And eventually I just have to start burning it. It becomes a nuisance and it slows me down and the stuff that I need to do. So,
I mean, I have a lumber shed.
You know what's
and
a
I can't
nuisance?
Keep up.
You know what's a nuisance, Dan? Your hateful feelings about scraps. Beautiful,
I'm sorry.
defenseless scraps.
Look, if you're local, you're free to come get whatever Braden don't take, because Braden has been picky lately. All he wants is the exotics. And I'm pitching a lot of walnut right now. I'm telling you what.
So overwhelmed with Dan's walnuts.
I'll bet you are, baby.
So much. It's
Braden's being a picky bitch.
It's the exotics that I need more to make sure that every single Dan Scrap box, www.danscraps.com, comes with a wide variety of new and exciting scrap woods.
That's a real website, folks.
Just do what you did before. Just buy an exotic board and chop it up into scraps.
Do you know how insane I feel when I've had to do that before? Like, I've chopped up my own Purple Heart to make non-certified Dan scraps.
As long as you're using Dan saw angrily, those are Dan scraps.
I mean, have you done the math on it?
On what?
Like let's say every box has like a little Purple Heart, this much cherry, but this much walnut, and like how much
cost effective
board, but like maybe it's just cost effective for you to literally buy all the wood
and just chop it up
because you have plenty of it. Just chop it up.
But it's technically less cost effective than getting it for free from www.
Well, like you said, you're overwhelmed with one, you need to backfill with another.
Maybe just start offering walnut scrap boxes. People would buy that.
I've kicked around doing specialty boxes, but at a certain point, my entire business is going to turn into just selling Dan's trash, and I'm not going to be a real woodworker. I'm just going to be a reseller.
I wish I had time to sell my own trash.
And with how walnut looks from board to board, it basically is plenty of variety. You'll have something that's yellow, and then you got another one that's more purple, and then a bluish tint, and like super brown and rich. There's so many different tints of walnut, it actually makes me mad. And that's why I burn some of my scraps. I'm sorry, Brian. But like, sometimes I'll try to make a board, and I'm like, this doesn't like. There's like
it doesn't match.
They don't match at all, and it's all
ridiculous.
walnut, and it makes me so mad.
Guys, there are starving woodworkers all over this country. What are you doing?
Bad people.
They are welcome to show up at my shop and pick it up
after I pick through it.
Yep.
www.danscraps.com.
I mean, honestly, you should start throwing in Baltic birch in those boxes, given how expensive those are going to start being.
I've thought about doing like a gag gift, plywood strip scraps sort of thing, or call it like the Michael Alm special.
Just MDF in there too.
Do your own pattern plywood.
Yep. Ooh. Yeah. DIY ply.
Truly DIY.
DI ply. Anyway.
Wait, was there one more question? Oh yeah, there was one more from
Una más, por favor.
The Alex Adams, and then we're wrapped. I get it.
Okay, enough of that. My actual question is, do you guys find that there is a difference when it comes to using brad nails from just cheap generic places versus like brand name sources?
I've only bought the Porter Cable and DeWalt ones that come at a Home Depot. I probably
I
should
only
just
buy
those
the
on
cheap
Amazon.
ones. Am I missing out on something?
I thought he was calling the Porter Cable and DeWalt ones the good ones. I only buy Harbor Freight.
I was gonna say, I
wow.
want to know what tomfoolery happened to make him think. I wonder if there's a difference between these tiny, narrow little pieces of metal.
I mean, I've seen or I've had ones that like I found in my tool cabinet that I didn't buy. It's just, like you have stuff that you inherited over the years from people or like your dad, that I would like put in a gun and it kept jamming it and I tossed it. But like the ones I buy that I actually pay money for are usually fine.
Huh.
I don't know.
Maybe I don't use brad nail enough to know the nuances between brands of brad nails, so couldn't tell you.
I will say that certain things like getting and not even brand name. I don't buy brand name bubble envelopes, but the ones off of Temu,
they're good enough.
How can they make them feel that much cheaper? They already are like so like light and fluffy, but then the Temu ones, and I haven't bought them. I've just gotten them from people, and I'm like, they just.
Have you guys run into the fact that like sometimes you'll order the ones from Temu and the size is like 1 inch by 1 inch smaller? Like they're all the wrong size in the wrong direction.
I don't like all this Temu hate. It's making me uncomfortable.
I'm all for
I've
it. We just
never bought anything from Temu.
Can't wait for you to get in a fight with Temu, Dan.
Never. I would never.
When Temu won't let you climb through the warehouse and pick out your own product, that's when it's all gonna fall apart.
Brian, you're familiar with Temu, right?
No, absolutely. I've gotten one of those emails I was telling you about earlier. I've gotten some of those from Temu too.
Yeah.
But no, I never bought anything.
You're missing out, Brian. Your world could change.
You are technically, by definition, missing out. Yes.
I will say this: painter's tape, definitely don't go with off-brand.
No.
That's one. When it like rips as soon as you try to pull it too fast, you like pull it like how Dan pulls a miter saw, right? And it instantly rips.
Or there's a reel on my page if you go back far enough where I got a hardened steel square from Temu.
Oh, and just
I was able to bend it with like 2 fingers.
Yeah, but you're yoked, Dan.
I'm pretty jacked. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. They forgot to harden that one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's it for questions. Brian, thank you so much for joining us. This was great. Just remind us, where can people find you?
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. I greatly appreciate it. It was nice meeting you guys at WorkbenchCon and then now getting to meet Dan. I greatly appreciate it. You can follow me, Built by Bricker, on everything. So go follow me on YouTube. That's something new I'm trying to try out. So
hey, you got a new subscriber right here.
Hey, appreciate you, Dan. Like I said, I watched both your videos this week, so you actually gave me a little motivation. I have a bunch of videos shot. I got to finish editing. That's the hardest part for me is just the editing. It's like learning a new language.
Yeah,
like I mentioned
man.
earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a lot of time.
It really does. So yeah, Built by Bricker on everything. Appreciate you guys.
Dope.
Awesome.
Yeah, go check out his IG. Check out his auction that he's doing, that he's using to help.
Autism acceptance maker auctions. I appreciate you guys for that.
Yeah, man. Go check that out. I want to thank all of our patrons who help keep this show afloat and going. We can't do this without you. If you'd like to help us, you can go to iloveawp.com. Or if you hate yourself and you like typing, you can go to patreon.com/anotherwoodshop podcast. Check it out over there. All of our patrons get access to our Discord. They get the show early. They get entered into our monthly giveaways. We just gave away a Bambu A1 combo, so lots to get.
And this month we're giving away
$250 to WTB Woodworks.
WTB
Nice.
Woodworking. Don't worry.
Woodworkings.
And then we got a lot more goodies to give out this year. We also have things we just don't want to give out to you guys because it's not worth it. Like we're joking around. I have an Ender 3 that I just wouldn't even wish it on my worst enemy.
I have a really nice set of brand new Forstner bits up there that we should give away at some point.
Dan really wants to give away these Forstner bits.
What I feel bad about though is like the things we've been giving away, they're all like worth $200, $300, $400. That set of Forstner bits is like $30.
Well, maybe we'll do a bundaroo.
Ooh,
Okay.
We'll
Yeah.
do that. We'll do
the old
something else.
the old stash bag.
We'll do
I like it.
off-brand Brad nails. Yeah.
Sounds great. I got a box of marbles.
Oh, we'll get like a mailman wire nails.
I
Get,
have
like, Porter cable.
I have
Nice.
follow-up questions on the box of marbles on Dance Off.
You don't have a box of marbles?
Yeah, what?
Hold on right here.
It's like a thing.
If you
Everybody's
pull out
got
a box of marbles, I'm gonna be so disappointed that
Can't
I
reach
don't
it right
have-
now, but I have. Yeah, it's right there.
Box of marbles and a bag of dice. Like everybody's got that on their desk, right?
Yep. Does everyone have a Rubik's Cube on their desk?
Not on my desk. I think it's over there.
Within a few steps.
No,
Yeah.
but I Sutton was here, so I've got PPE.
Like what else can we all have on our desks?
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Next week, Yessie is joining us, correct?
Yessie the lawyer / woodworker.
Yeah. Remind me her handle. I'm blanking.
Built by Yessie.
Yeah, thank
Built
you.
by Yessie? Hold on.
Built by
Is that
Yessie?
right?
Yessie Wood, Florida. Or something?
Oh, we are awful.
Hold on. We're gonna triple check.
No,
I bet all of them work. I hear that
join us
she...
for that guest and more guests that are coming. And
Knock on wood.
knock on
Knock on
wood.
wood, Florida.
Knock on wood, Florida.
knock on. What do you mean? What are you knocking on wood for?
That's Yessie's name.
But yeah, thanks for joining us. We have some cool guests coming up, and of course, just a final reminder: May 15th in Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska, we are doing our MAYker meetup.
May 17th.
May
What'd I say?
17th, not the 15th.
17th.
Okay, you're not the
fly
math
the
guy.
15th. I'm so sorry. May 17th, and it's gonna be a blast. And if this one is good, we're gonna just turn into a whole conference next year.
Yep.
We're gonna go big. Classes, karaoke, all the fun stuff.
At least karaoke.
At least karaoke. Anyways,
We
thanks for
could do
joining us.
karaoke this year, frankly.
Brian, thank you for being here.
Appreciate
Dan
it,
and
guys.
Braden, thank you for being you. And I
I
love y'all.
didn't
Bye,
have a
bye, bye,
choice.
bye, 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 bye.
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 Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Love you long time.
Love you long time.
Stop it. I get the
Bye.
last word.
Love you long time.
Bye. Bye, Dan.
Bye. Love you long time.